All right, before we begin, let's thank our sponsors. Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite pest and wildlife control. But that's not all. Inspect All Pest Services will take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Big thanks to the Aurora Law Firm. That'd be one Mad Dog Manny Aurora and Pew Pew. The AuroraLawFirm.com litigates all of the United States, based out of Georgia, whether it's criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. That would be the Aurora Law Firm. Ridgeline Counseling, Dr. David Markwell and his therapist. 3 locations in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains and East Cobb. Marietta near the square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But the good doctor can talk to you wherever you are at with a virtual session. Schedule that today via markwelltherapy.com or email him directly, ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. FPC Insurance, perfect for new homeowners, or if you're just looking to reshop those current insurance policies, which is never a bad idea. 5-star service, shop over 35 A-rated companies, multi-policy bundle discounts. They'll help you shop for carriers to find insurance for your house, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or even a personal policy. 888-308-1841. You can always get a quote online, FBCInsuranceServices.com. Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. Never lose power again. They're the best at what they do, hands down, no doubt about it. Every customer at Alternate Power Solutions gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract. They offer flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations, and warranty repair. A-plus rating with the BB&B. Call or request a free home assessment. You can do that by calling 770-853-7571 or go to poweringgeorgia.com. Don't forget the discount code Bailey, my last name, Bailey, for $500 off your entire installation, servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Jayco Contracting, gutter and roofing specialist. Give Cliff Bratcher a call. Two-peer Cliff Bratcher. This is the hardest working guy in the business and the most trustworthy. 770-316-3876. He works every day of the year. Don't worry about it. He's got you. Licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialist covering all of Georgia. They are a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, the creator of the Pink Panther, not the you know what I mean. Free gutter guards with the purchase of a roof. Satisfaction guaranteed, commercial and residential. JaycoContracting.com. And, of course, Cliff Bratcher, 770-316-3876. And Live Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, also offering red light therapy, presotherapy, halo therapy, PEMF, and also chromiotherapy, plus many ozone-infused products online like the magnesium butter. You can go to liveozoneTherapySpa.com to book your appointment or to purchase any of those products. And for all 2 peers, if you use the code BS10, you get a 10% discount at checkout. All right, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, please reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. Let's have a conversation, see how the BS podcast can help your brand. All right, let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast. A guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
All right, there it is. It's your Freebay episode. Episode 342 of the BS podcast. It is a guy show women love to listen to. Love it. Love it. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey right there. That is the Bald Badger. That is Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin.
Hey, how you doing, Bailey? Your skin looks fantastic today. What's up with this glow you got going on?
I'm blessed.
Good lighting.
I'm glowing. I don't know. Like it's anxiety and stress and the relief of ozone therapy and getting stacked at a poker table, and it's excitement of WrestleMania this past weekend and briskets. It's just the glow. You know, I'm I say this all the time. I'm busier now at 49, almost 50, than I've ever been in my entire life of America. I am crazy busy, and I don't have time for the little nuances. Meaning, my the fan belt. You know, I don't know shit about trucks, and I don't know anything about cars. But something's wrong with my car. Like I turn it off, and the fan keeps going. I have no idea what it means. So I call my buddy, who is the manager up at this car shop. And he said something. I forgot what he said. But either way, I got to take it into the dealership, which I absolutely hate doing because they've been horrible. And because they take my warranty. So those little nuances, I don't have time for that. Then I have this deal with one of my banks that I deal with. You know, I sent them online a check via online stuff. This has to do with Alive. And they're telling me 2 weeks later they didn't get it. But the bank shows that they got it. And the money's been gone. So now it's like my job to figure it out when it's the bank's job. Right? Both banks, not my job. I did my job. I went on my little talkie box. I did my job on time, you know? So that's the glow. It's the toxins coming out of my body. It's the stress. It's the anxiety. That's why I'm ozone.
Looks good on you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. What is that you're wearing, Bailey? Stress and anxiety. By Bailey.
Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I love the smell of stress and anxiety. It's just, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. It's like cutting your toenails. I hate cutting. Well, I don't do it. Well, Rach does it, but my fingernails, I do. I don't have time for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
You ever get a pedicure, Bailey?
I do, but I don't have time to go in there. I love pedicures. I love going in there, but I don't have time for it. I mean, they sit there and they take forever. I got things to do, you know?
I want to go to one of those places where they got the little sucky fish that go on the bottom of your feet and eat all the dead skin and stuff. That seems crazy cool to me.
Do you know how disgusting that is? You know how many people's feet have been in that thing? You know, that I know what you're talking about. They got them all over in Vegas. So, yeah, but you know how disgusting that is? Because they don't clear out the water. You understand that, right?
I mean, okay.
So you're putting your feet into water that other people have put their feet into.
You ever swam in a public pool?
Yeah, with chlorine? Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chlorine. Yeah, I mean, at least you've got some type of barrier there. I try not to swim in public pools, and there's no need for me to do that because I have a pool in my backyard. Now, next month when we go to Atlantis, we will be swimming in a very public pool. But again, there's chlorine in that pool. You didn't see that one coming, did you, when you asked that?
No.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
No, but I mean, but you don't think that they change the water at all? Like, are you just certain they don't because there's fish in it and they couldn't possibly take the fish out, clean the water, put the fish back in?
Look, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll meet you a tenth of a way. I'll say every once in a while they might.
Okay.
But do they clean it after every person? No, absolutely not. I know they don't.
I never thought this far into it. I just always I thought it was like a cool concept. Get little sucky fish on my feet.
Yeah. So the idea in your head, you're going, well, it's clean because these sucky fish, that's what all they do. They constantly eat bacteria. Okay. Well, yeah, they do, but people are still I mean, it's kind of like nuts at a bar, you know, the nut bowl.
Oh God.
And everybody's dirty fingers. Look,
Long came Polly.
We've all been in a public restroom. Have you ever just sat in there for 5 extra minutes and watched people, especially us dudes,
they don't wash your hands?
They leave with dick on their hands. You should never leave a bathroom with dick on your hands.
Don King famously washed his hands before he used the bathroom.
Right. Yeah. Well, usually bathrooms have, I mean, nowadays they've got the little hand sanitizer stuff. So I'll do a squirt of hand sanitizer. I'll go in there. I'll do my business. I'll wash my hands afterwards and then I'll leave, you know, and I'm very particular about that, especially when I go to the poker room. Do you know how dirty a poker table is? Think about this. You're dealing with money, right? Then you're dealing with chips, which arguably is dirtier than the money. And you're constantly playing with the chips. You're dealing with the cards that are constantly being passed around to everybody at the table.
The felt.
And you want to know what's really gross is when you see somebody at a poker table eating something that they have to use their hands for, like chicken fingers, or the worst is French fries. Even worse than that, potato chips. This guy at the table the other day was eating fucking potato chips at the poker table and licking the juices off his fingers as he's playing cards. I wanted to vomit and then punch him in the face.
That's almost like trying to mark the cards, though. That's kind of a weird cheat.
It's disgusting, I mean,
There's
maybe
that too.
Yeah, like maybe I'm just oversensitive about it. I mean, we just came out of this COVID thing where people were putting gloves on to pump gas, right? Remember that? It's like, put the gloves on to pump the gas, or the COVID's going to get into your body.
Okay. I love seeing people still wearing masks now.
Yeah, look, each into their own.
Sure.
I mean, you don't know their situation. They might be sick. They might have some type of serious condition that they need to wear a mask. It's none of your business. And, for people that just automatically label them, there is a guy, and I know this guy, and he's a very nice guy. And he was wearing a mask at the poker table the other day. And he got up from the table and somebody said something, because that's how tough guys work. They say something when he leaves. I have to make the decision. I'm not best friends with this guy by no stretch, but I like him. But I've got to now make the decision, as this guy's openly trashing this dude because of his mask. Yeah, well, it's not his honor. It's just the concept of, like, mind your own fucking business, man. You don't know his story. You don't know what he's going through. He might be dying of cancer, and he wants to play some cards. Shut the fuck up, right? So I did say something. I go, look, you don't know what he's going through. I go, I get it. The masks are goofy. I understand. I don't disagree with you, but you don't know his particular situation. And the guy makes kind of a comment back to me, Biden or something. I'm like, no, that's not the case at all, dude. It's common sense. You just don't know his story. Shut the fuck up.
I'm guilty of it too, but to come back with the Biden thing, that's pretty stupid. I do judge the masks. I do. I'm guilty.
It always goes back to politics. Thanks for joining us on a free bay episode of the BS podcast. Remember, we got new content every day of the week. If you are, let's say, especially on the Spotify app, and you're listening and you're going, well, that's bullshit. You don't have new content every day of the week. I just see, this Monday episode of Honey, I Raised the Kids with you and your wife. I see a Friday episode of the BS Live, which is repurposed from our Tuesday night live stream on Twitch and Instagram and YouTube. In this episode, I don't see 5 days a week. Well, it's because you're not a subscriber. So if you're a subscriber of the BS podcast, which is very simple to do, you go to thebaileyshow.com, you throw me $5 a month. You get not only back episodes, which are hundreds of episodes and thousands of hours of content, you get future episodes, you get opportunities like Win Bailey's Booty. For my subscribers, I got $100 every month. This month, no different. We'll do it next week. Towards the end of the month to see, full amount of subscribers. So it's a lot of stuff going on, working on events and different types of things, but that's just kind of how this system runs. Would appreciate if you would subscribe. It'd help out tremendously and get those numbers up, and then just have more subscribers in general. TheBaileyShow.com. So there are, and those episodes are just on Spotify. So if you're on, iHeart or, Google or Apple or something, you're not going to see them. That's why you're going, this dude's full of shit. Not even a clue. A buddy of mine's going to join us here in a little bit. Guy from the poker room. You got this guy's stories just all over the place. He's a mess, and I'll explain when he comes on. He is so nervous. Out of every guest that I've had in my entire life in America, like I've interviewed a lot of people. This is just a dude from the poker room. He's become a buddy of mine, and he's just so bipolar. It's not even funny. I've never seen somebody confirm so many times. He's got anxiety to come on. And this dude is a talker, so much so that there's people that hate him so much at the poker room. There's one person in particular that I'll bring up when he comes on, but he's terrified to come on. He's terrified. But when I first met him, he's like, oh, you should have me on. I can talk. And then somebody else goes, oh, you should have your own podcast. You should do stand-up comedy. I'm like, all right, kid, let's see how it works out.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, let's give him a shot. But his story's good. He's a cool dude, so we could bullshit with him when he comes on. I've been meaning to ask you, Bald Badger, why you have snakes as pets.
I've been wondering when this was going to come up, actually.
Because I've always said this.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
I can't stand, usually, people that have snakes as pets. It doesn't make any sense to me.
All right. So it started with the ex and her son. So he was very into snakes. And when he would get a good grade, she would buy him some sort of exotic snake. And they ended up getting like 6 of them when it was all said and done. And I'm like, okay, this would be a really cool way for me and him to bond. Like, he's got these snakes. I need to get one that's even cooler than every snake he has. So I got Colombian red-tailed boa, which will end up being 12 to 14 feet. Thinking this would be a great thing for us because we're going to bond together for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't work out. So she and I still talk on occasion. She's got some new old guy that she's with that she seems very happy with, whatever. He doesn't like snakes, wouldn't allow him in the house. Somehow I ended up with 2 of their snakes. So now I have 3 and a pet lizard, which just, because he's cute. So that's where the snake thing came from.
But you can get out now.
Well, kind of. When you get a snake, it's like, it's a commitment, man. You don't just throw them away.
No, but you could donate it to snake habitat. Gatorland will take the snake, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, like I just don't. People that have snakes as pets have always struck me as, look at me, I'm a tough guy. There used to be, back in the 90s, downtown Orlando, there was a guy that always had a boa constrictor around his neck. And I never got it, and the chicks would think it was cool. Hold on for a second.
A little creepy, but kind of hardcore,
Yeah, it's just like a pet you're supposed to be able to cuddle and love and take care of. And like I'm a dog guy. Most people are dog guys. I think the majority of Americans, if you're looking at pets, are dog people, statistically. Then you got second place, most likely cat people. That could be mixed. You cat people are freaking out right now. It could be mixed. I don't know. I'm not a cat person. I found out from my allergist the other day that I'm deathly allergic to everything. My wife is like, how do you survive? Trees, grass, weeds, cats, but not dogs. So what does that tell you? Dogs better than cats. Anyway, so like, even with a cat, like my daughter's now got a cat, Goose. I get it, right? She's in college. They're easy to care for. She can go do her thing. The cat can survive on its own. When she comes back, she teaches the cat tricks. It's goofy. It's fun. She sends us videos. It's cute. I get it.
Cats are perfect for that type of thing.
Right. I get it now more than ever.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I knew you were doing that. Damn it.
Dogs, they need a little bit more attention, obviously, but you get a lot more back, I think. I've got 5 of them. There's a story behind each one of them. It's not like we went out and bought 5 dogs. Most of you know the story, blah, blah, blah. But snakes, you're not cuddling with a snake. The snake could possibly at one point in time kill you. You say, well, dogs can do the same thing. Yeah, if you got a pit bull. I mean, my Cavalier King Charles is never going to kill me. You know what I mean? Snakes are like pit bulls, actually worse, to be honest with you. I mean, I know some good pit bulls. If the pit bull's trained a bad way, it could fuck you up. There was a story years ago. I always bring this up. It was like in the early 2000s. Was it Samsilla, Florida? Yeah, some small town. It's people living in trailers. They had big boa constrictors in a trailer. This little baby is in its crib. Snake got out of its cage, went and suffocated the kid, and was in the process of swallowing the kid until the mother or father or the dad or whatever found him. What the shit? What the shit, man? You put your kid in harm's way because you could have snakes in a trailer? For what reason? What's the point? No point. No, just saying.
Yeah, that's irresponsible. There is something weird about snake owners. There's no getting around it. I mean, it's definitely kind of a shock value. Ooh, I have a snake at home. What? I'm never coming over. I get the response all the time. Great, didn't want you there. But it's I also have snakeskin boots. So what's that mean?
Well, that's cool. I mean, snake. I mean, okay with the snakeskin boots. By the way, that's Henry snoring in the background if you hear it. So here, you want to know what's a snake, according to personality-psychology.com. If you, I mean, this is legit. If you own a snake, what it says about your personality. You ready?
Psycho.
Did anyone say adrenaline junkies? Snake owners see themselves as highly individualistic and particularly organized. They march to the beat of their own drum and may be inclined to bold fashion statements and political worldviews. Does that mean lower agree unpredictableness. It does not mean higher openness to experience. Words like unpredictable and unconventional fit right up their alley. They also possess eccentric humor and choose unique, often artistic career paths. Musicians, artists, actors, film directors, professional racers, and designers may be more inclined to choose a scaly friend as their lifelong companion. That pretty much nails you up in the butthole.
Pretty damn. It's one place to nail me. Yeah, it's a pretty close comparison.
Yeah, so
I like dogs too, though. What's
right.
it say about dogs?
Okay, dogs.
I know.
Man's best friend and loyal companion. You bet. Here's your personality. If you're a dog owners tend to self-report themselves as highly extroverted and agreeable. They also enjoy team sports and collaborative activities. In terms of wake time, puppy parents are more likely to be early risers. True. And follow highly structured days. In terms of political views, breed matters. Generally speaking, a larger, more protective breed points to conservatism, whereas a smaller, more adorable breed points to liberalism. Mutts, mixed breeds, likely rest closer to the middle of the two viewpoints. Dogs are the most popular pet in the States. There we go. I was right. Hovering around 40% of households that own at least one. All right. Not
Dogs are perfect.
That's kind of a weak psych report, though. Dog owners, good dog owners, not bad. I mean, we're talking about good pet owners here. Good dog owners, I would say, if I were going to, psych eval, they are caring, they are giving, because I mean, dogs are like little people. You know what I mean?
So what came first, the chicken or the egg? Were you structured and a morning person before you got the dog, or did you become that way because the dog needed you to adapt?
Oh no, I was always like
You were that way always?
Yeah, even as a kid, I wasn't a sleep in type of guy. I would try to force myself to sleep in because my brother was. My brother would sleep until like noon or 1. I was like, oh, that's what the cool kids do. So I would try to do that. And I'd be up at 7 and I'd sit in bed for 5 hours, just pretend to sleep. I couldn't do it. Like even as I remember at 6, 7 years old, the night before, I'd write a list of what I was doing the next day.
Watching G.I. Joe, eating Fruit Loops, getting dirty somewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the list wrote. Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
That's what it said. Yeah, I'd be
Would you pick out your clothes the day before?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you still?
Sometimes I do. Now I don't have much of fashion. So I'm a gym shorts, sleeveless shirt guy because I'm always at the gym. And then when I come home, I'm in my studio, so nobody really sees me. If we record, I usually wear a hoodie because that's my fashion. Now, if I've got meetings to go to, like for a live, I'll wear a live shirt and some nice pants. Like the other day, I actually went out for the first time. I went out and bought myself something clothes-wise and got some new shoes. And I told Rachel, I'm like, if I'm going to these meetings, I can't keep wearing my black On Clouds to every meeting. I gotta do something else. I gotta get some cool shoes. She was like, okay. Well, I mean, not that I have to ask her. Here's what, if you're a cat owner, because I know some of you right now are going, okay, you did dogs and snakes. What's my personality if I'm a cat owner? Cat are the perfect felines, truly best suited for introverts. Yes. However, there appears to be more to the picture. Why do many writers and artists own cats? Think high neuroticism. Openness to experience and emotional sensitivity. The soft purrs from cats are known to increase oxygen or oxytocin levels and reduce stress. Oh, this is deep. Makes sense for people with heightened sensitivity. Popular career choices for cat owners include medical lab technician, physician,
serial killer,
real estate agent, and personal caretaker, right? All these occupations involve an intense amount of care and eye for detail, though concrete facts or emotional awareness. Concrete facts or emotional awareness. Cat owners are also often stylish with a sharp eye for beauty and wholeness.
Okay. I kind of think some of the cat has to depend on the breed thing too. There's a different in the breed of the cat and the owner. So if you find somebody that's got a Sphinx that's like a naked cat, they're definitely more eccentric than somebody that's got a tabby from the pound.
There's a name for that particular breed of cat owner when women own Sphinx.
What is the name?
Sphincter.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sphinxter. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You got it?
It's tight.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're pushing it, but whatever.
There you go. You just killed it now. So you don't over joke the joke. Even if it's bad, you over joke. Bad move, dude. Bad move.
Badger. What do you want?
So can we get rid of the snakes if we're going to continue to be friends?
I'm open for discussion. I want to find them a lovely home.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not married to the snakes. And actually, the big one that I named Presley with 4 S's because I thought that was cute. Presley. Yeah, I'm an Elvis guy. So she's turned into a bitch. I don't even handle her anymore because she bites me all the damn time. And,
you get bit by a snake? You got bit by a snake?
All the time, yeah.
What the shit? Are you serious?
One of my snakes is venomous.
What kind of snake is that?
Hognose. It's like a bee, but it's still venom.
It's bitten you?
No, Hissy does not. No, hognose are actually kind of hilarious, but the big one, the Colombian boa, yeah, she bites me all the time. She's a bitch.
And that's normal.
They're aggressive.
Yeah, that's why people that own snakes as pets are psychopaths. They're serial killers in the works. You're talking like you go outside and get bit by a snake. That's a 911 call. You're getting bit by a snake at your house all the time, and you're going to work the next day. Something's wrong with you. Just saying. What do you mean?
She's beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful. So she's really neat to look at in her terrarium. And I come in and there's this big ass snake in glass, and it's kind of neat, but yeah, I definitely don't have the emotional attachment to her that I once did. I got her when she was like this big, so now she's just turned into a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So we need to get rid of these snakes, dude. We need to get you out of this bad habit. I mean, that's just horrible, dude.
I want a basset hound. That's what I'm interested in.
There you go. Let's be normal for a fucking second, man. Get a basset hound. A basset hound. Yeah.
Sticking with that Elvis hound doggy vibe. You know what I mean?
And the basset hound can come to work with you.
Yep.
And just lay around and snore like
road dogs.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty cool. You look like a basset hound owner.
Yeah.
You don't be the douchey guy with the snakes. Like there's no point to it. You know what kind of guys, what kind of women guys attract that own snakes? They're Satan worshipers. Like women that like guys with snakes, they are golfed up. They got black everything. Yes. They love Satan. They drink blood.
They put out.
Yeah, but it's a weird put out. Like
everything's acceptable.
Right. Yeah. They like
Nothing's off the table.
They like it in weird orifices, like their belly button.
Put it in my ear.
Yeah. Snake chicks. All right. He's terrified right now. I know he is. It's so funny. It's so funny. He's terrified right now. He's got to fix his phone though. He's like sideways. He's not up and down. There he goes. All right. I think he can hear me. All right. He can. And he's at the poker room. So,
great.
Yeah, let me set this up before we bring him on. Okay. So this is like, I love this dude. Like I go to the poker room in Orange City, Florida all the time. And I tell you guys why I play poker. And I know I'm not trying to bore people about the ace king versus ace queen. Like I'm not really at that level. I'm a decent poker player. I go because of observing people. A poker table represents every sect of life. I've said it a million times. Everybody at that table you've met, not maybe that person, but somebody like them. And then you add the poker concept to it of trying to figure them out to win money. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. He disappeared. Why did he disappear? So let me tell him to come back.
He's scared.
Did I see her? Okay, there he's come back. So anyway, this guy, his name is Mark, and he plays professionally. And when I say professionally, like you're not seeing him on TV, but this is what he does every day he does other things like e-commerce and stuff like this. I find that fascinating. Somebody that's in their 30s, that's all they do. And he's really good at it. Like a really, really good poker player. But he's got something that nobody else at the poker room's got. He's got this, he puts people on what we call tilt. because they find him annoying. I don't find him annoying. I think he's brilliant.
Is
I
that
think
just making them uncomfortable? Is that what tilt is for us stupid people?
Because people, especially poker players, they are so thin-skinned. You say one thing that upsets them, they're done. You know they're done, and you're going to take the rest of their money. This dude mind fucks everybody. Whether and he doesn't admit it, but I'm a smart guy. I know what he's doing. It's brilliant. And I watch these people get so pissed off because he doesn't fucking shut up. It's great. I love it. I love listening to this guy. So I was like, you got to come on the show, man. Let's talk about it. And then we haven't even, like, this is the tip of the iceberg with this guy. And then we get into his personal life, and wait till we go there. This is great. So let's welcome to the BS podcast. There he is. We'll call him Poker Mark. We'll give you a round of applause there, Poker Mark. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Are you
Nothing much?
You freaked out? You nervous? You got a little anxiety coming on?
I mean, a little bit. It's not every day that I
get to be on a show. Yeah. Are you
exactly?
You at the poker room right now doing this?
No. I took the time to make this appointment with you.
Oh wow, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. So did you hear anything of me setting you up there?
A little bit. I've been playing professionally for 20 years now, and a lot of people think I did hear you say the TV thing. I mean, you can Google me, and I've won a couple World Series of Poker rings, and I've won a World Poker Tour.
Really?
And that's more my poker resume, for my family and for when people do ask. But when I'm in the poker room and we're playing cash games, which are considered side games, you'll see some of the younger guys, like an older business guy will ask them, hey, what do you do for a living? And they'll say, I'm a professional poker player. The first thing I want to do is smack him out of his chair. Who the fuck? You don't go to a pool hall and set up a pool game and try to play somebody for $200 in a pool game and say, oh, yeah, I'm a professional, everybody. Anybody want to play me? Yeah. No. I mean, yes, I do e-commerce. I've owned restaurants and done things, and I'm self-educated in an array of topics. But you don't tell someone at the poker table, in my opinion, that you're a professional poker player. It's bad business.
Wow, that's interesting. I think like we've become friends, right? And
yeah,
I think you're brilliant. I really think you're brilliant. Well, one, you're just a great poker player. I mean, that call the other night that you made, I've never seen anything like that. And Ben, let me explain to you just to kind of lay it out, for the non-poker players. I mean, the board was paired. So there was 2 sevens on the board. There was an overcard of a king on the board that came on the river. He's playing this guy. He's not playing the board. He's playing the guy that's very loose and was bluffing nonstop. I mean, he just destroyed me. I couldn't keep up with him. And they get into this hand, and this guy by the time the guy puts Mark all in, there's already like $1,600 in the pot at least. And then he puts another $700, $800, $900 on top. And I'm watching Mark's sitting to my right, and I'm watching him think this hand out. And he's taking his time, and that's good. There's a lot of money. And he calls him with pocket nines. So there was, I believe, a straight possibility. There was trip sevens. There was numerous opportunities to have a full house, just have a king. There was so many different possibilities to beat his pocket nines, but he thought it through and called it. And that dude, it was a black guy, and I watched him turn white. I mean, that dude was like, how do you make that call? And if I were Mark, I would have responded back with, because I'm a better player than you. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, when I win, the last thing I want to do is you want to show some humility. That guy, I knew he was a dick. He was nice. I call it people World Poker Tour players, because a lot of new players are coming into the game by watching these guys on TV and things. And so the way he would sit and he would, he's trying to mimic the people that he's seen on TV. So I knew that he was capable of making plays outside the box, so to speak, because he's at least trying to learn. So anyone who's trying to learn is watching the guys on TV. And I believe those guys sometimes have a thing called FPS, which is fancy play syndrome. So I'd already marked him like that. When he asked me, how did you make that call? My sponsoring thought was math, because ultimately it came down to a math problem. You said there was 1,600 in the pot, but he bet about 800 and change, the last of his money on the river. And it was actually 2,600 in the pot. So it was 800 to win 2,600. So I was getting a little over 3 and some to 1 to call. And then it's like a pie chart in my mind where, we also double straddled to the non-poker players. We're playing a much larger limit than we normally do because we normally play 2-5, but then the guys can put on 10 and then they put on 20. So we're playing 2, 5, 10, 20 dollars, right? So we were playing two sizes larger than normal that hand. So the pot got bloated, or got larger than normal. And all that put together with him being a World Poker Tour player, and I knew he was capable of bluffing. And I was wearing my Wawa shirt.
Yeah,
people.
That's huge. Yeah, the Wawa shirt's huge.
Yeah.
Would you have made that call if I would have bet that on the river?
Within the last week or two, no. You've been playing a little bit more close to the chest lately. I can tell you're trying to make adjustments to your game.
See, this is what I find interesting. So you, a 10 times better poker player than I am, without question. You see me, and there's like at a poker table, Ben, everybody's hot, funny, blah, 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 blah. But in the back of their minds or top of their minds, you're still analyzing everyone, right? I mean, there's two different games that are going, or there's a couple different games that are going. You got the legit game of poker, but then you have the conversation, which you want to be cool and everybody have a good time. But then there's another game going on, and that's figuring out between the lines of what people say. Like, one of the things that I think people make a mistake of, and again, me at a very low level of playing poker, is anyone that calls their time when they're leaving. I think that is a huge mistake. Never tell somebody that you're about to leave, because you're going to be playing hands that you might not normally be playing. And you're going to try to get to a certain level, or, you just do things you wouldn't normally do if you were going to be there for a couple more hours. So Mark, tell me what kind of poker player I am. And when we sit at the table together, what you think, what you go, oh, this is easy money. Bailey's sitting next to me.
It's not that it's easy money. I mean, you have certain tendencies. In poker, we have things called like basic level, first level book study is there's a thing called PFR and VPIP, and PFR stands for pre-flop raise percentage. Pre-flop is the first 2 cards you get. Okay, so I'm always calculating that. You get 2 cards. How often does this person raise? How often do they fold? There's a player in our room named Barbara. She's folding 99% of her hands. And there's a book by Phil Hellmuth, one of the top pros. Many people that are poker advocates will know him. He's the all-time World Series of Poker winner. He wrote a book called Play Like the Pros that I read a decade ago. And he describes poker players by animals. Barbara is a mouse. Mouse don't play a lot of hands. They fold. And if they do put any money in, you just get out of their way because they have it, right? That's one animal. Phil Hellmuth, obviously, he's an eagle because he's all perfection. But you're more like a jackal. Jackals are kind of loosey-goosey, and sometimes they call and sometimes they raise, but they're kind of squirrely because, like you're kind of street pokery. I can tell you haven't read a lot of books or educated yourself, but you do love the game, and you played probably a lot of kitchen table poker with your buddies and things like that. So, I broke you down. You have a higher than normal VPIP, which is voluntarily puts money in the pot. You like to see a lot of flops, which is 72% of your hand. Any casual poker player likes to see the flop because that's where all the action goes down, right? You never know what you're going to match with.
That's interesting. So I actually fold a lot.
You have been folding more the last 2 weeks.
Got to get to Atlantis.
Well, no, it's like that's always. I'm a pretty tight player. It's funny you say that because I'm a pretty tight player. Now, the last couple weeks I've been more loose. The other day when we were playing and I got stacked by that guy. I know you're friends with him. I'm not a fan, but
with A6 clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. I mean, I had to call. I mean, that I had top pair and nut flush draw. I did not put him on ace queen, to be honest with you. I just got screwed. I mean,
of course. Well, he had the better hand though. It's all just a big math problem. Yeah, So, I mean, you like to play.
What's that?
Mark's brain works different, man.
It does.
I mean,
he's buzzing.
People say, I don't know. I've been playing poker 20 years, so it's something that I'm passionate about. I lost my passion for a long time, and then meeting people like Jason and things makes me realize, Bailey, I just I have a gift, and I've been very blessed to be able to travel the world and play cards. And I'm good at reading people, and I've always been a games player. So when I was a kid, I grew up playing Ultima Online, and MMORPG was a video game selling castles and things. And then when I was going to Florida State University, I saw people playing on ESPN, and then I said, "Oh wow, people are doing this for a living," and then I picked it up. But as I've gotten older, perhaps I have taken it for granted. And that's why it's been nice, getting to know Jay, because, he takes me outside of my element to do things like this and speak to somebody that's, lived a completely different life outside of gambling. Because it does wear on you. There's a lot of losing in people. And if you spend too much time in gambling establishments, there's a lot of bitching and just, guys going through divorces or people tossing their lives. And that was something that I morally struggled with when I originally got into it. Like, you see the guys in the poker room. I mean, some of those guys are fucking dumping their life savings and that's not a great feeling, and you don't want to be their therapist, and then it's like, we're buddies, but we're not really buddies, and you're competitors, but you still have this camaraderie. So
weird. I always say poker players are the most honest liars, because you can sit there at a poker table and leave $5,000 and go away for 20 minutes, and that $5,000 is still going to be there. I mean, a lot has to do with all the cameras that are around too, but nobody's going to steal it. But that guy's not going to tell you what he really had that last hand. You know what I mean?
No, there's fibbing and there's lying. And in the poker room, I mean, we're playing a game for money and we're competing against each other, So this is the real me. But when I'm in the poker room, sure, I'm wearing my Wawa shirts and I have little backstories. And some people would say, that's strange, Mark. You're kind of like a compulsive liar. But I'm just playing a game. I'm sort of like an actor. Like I was saying about the younger guys, I'm not going to sit there when people come in and go, here's a funny story. There's this guy that plays with us. He's a real estate guy named AJ. And he works for LGIH Homes. And he was telling his boss, oh my God, there's this guy in the poker room. He works at Wawa. And then it turns out it's one of my childhood friends. And he goes, Mark Steven Edwards. And he brought up pictures. And my childhood buddy knows my whole story. We've been friends since I was a kid. And I convinced this guy for 5+ years that I was a general manager at Wawa. I mean, that's what he believed I was. He had no idea that I'm a professional poker player.
You got me too, and that's very difficult to do. You told me that this guy in the poker room, this dude Fredo, stands about 4'8", right? He's a little bald Italian guy. He told me that he sells pictures of his feet on OnlyFans, and I'm looking for content for the show. And so I get this dude, I try to book him for the podcast, and he stands me up. And he goes, he lied. I don't really do that. And I was like, all right, well, then I don't need to. And he goes, and then it became a thing. But anyway.
He does have few feet. Yeah, he's a little guy.
Yeah. Where do you know that, Mark?
Yeah.
I do spread friendly rumors because Orange City Card Room is like a big high school. There's probably only like 1,000 of us that play our limit, right? So it's just funny listening to people buzz about bullshit.
Yeah. So I was talking to another guy at the poker room, very good poker player. We call him Daytime Teddy. And I was asking him because he plays poker for a living, right? Professionally. Whatever. I mean, that's all he does. And I said, how much do you have to have in your bankroll to make sure that you can play every day? Because you're not going to win every time. And he said that you need to have at least 30 big blinds. And if you're buying in for the max would be, let's say $1,000, you'd have to have $30,000. Is that right?
Buy-ins, 30 buy-ins, not big blinds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
30 buy-ins. Yeah. 30 buy-ins to the game. 30. Again, it all comes down to risk aversion and how you're playing the game. Teddy has a higher PFR, pre-flop raise percentage than I do. And he likes to play a little bit more splashy or loosey-goosey, so to speak. Then I'm more close to the chest and conservative. I make up for my conservativeness by my chattiness and setting up an image and having people. I'm more of a defensive player, if you've noticed. I sort of am an antagonist and I play very ABC. I'm very conservative and I make my reads. But when you actually look at the tangibility of how my money goes into the pot and how I play the game, I'm very constructive. If you actually pay attention to that rather than my persona. Teddy's actually a little bit more, he's more aggressive than I am and he puts the chips in more, but his persona and demeanor, he's very introverted and very stout and stoic, so to speak, and extremely kind. That being said, 30, to answer your question, 30 buy-ins. I mean, Jesus Ferguson, one of the great players that I grew up listening to, he would say 100 buy-in, so 100K if you're buying it for 1,000 each. But again, it comes down to risk aversion in a live setting. But I'd say anywhere from 25 to 50. Yeah. And we all have, So because you're going to have variance. I always tell people poker isn't like chess. Okay. Everybody knows who the number one chess player in the world is. And the number two chess player is never going to sit down and play the number one chess player for money. That's suicide. 3 to 2, 3 to 1, on and on, all the way down the ladder. Right. Because everyone knows that Magnus is bar none, the best chess player, undisputed in the world. To play him for money would be suicide because he's going to win 9 out of 10 games, if not 9.5 games. But in poker, anybody can come and be a 20-year veteran on any given day, and even for a week if the cards run hot, right? It takes time to get what we call a sample size of hands and hands and hands and hands, right? That's what keeps people coming back.
Yeah, that's like last week. Like my problem is I'll have a good day, then I'll have a really bad day. The other day I couldn't lose. One of the guys that we play with, this guy Elliot, even said, he's like, you couldn't lose. I mean, 4-7 is my favorite hand to play, right? I love 4-7. and it's only because, I mean, like 8 out of 10 times you look at that board, if there's a 7, there's going to be a 4. It's just, maybe it's in my mind.
Yeah, but that's in your mind.
It's in my mind, but it works for me. And then if it doesn't hit, I'll fold. I'm not going to play it for, a crazy amount of money, but if I can limp in and see a flop, then I'm going to do it. Anyway.
To my point, this is exactly the thought processes that you're giving me the fodder to reinforce what I was saying prior, which is you enjoy playing hands like 7-4. A professional isn't going to play what we call a 3-gapper. The percentage chances to make a straight are much, much less when you have more gaps in between the cards. It's much higher percentage to make a straight with a hand like 3-4 or 4-5 or 5-6, right? Or even a 1-gapper like a 4-6 or a 6-8 or an 8-10. Right.
Is that why a dead man's hand is like the worst thing because it's such a big gap in between those cards?
Perhaps the mythology behind Ace 8 is I think they used to play 5-card draw and he had aces full of 8s and supposedly Wild Jim or something to that effect got shot holding that hand. I don't know if that's true. Perhaps a fact check.
Wild Bill Hickok got shot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah.
He was holding aces and 8s. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
No, you can't make a straight with an ace and an 8. It's impossible.
Oh, you can make a 5-card, like a 4-liner.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, maybe if 4, 5, 6, 7 came out on the board, but you're not connecting the aces and 8s. It's impossible.
Yes.
So let's talk about your fucked up personal life. This is the best stuff. This stuff is great. So I don't know if this is actually real or not, but let me give you an example. So Mark bitches and complains about how horrible his life is. I don't think it's bad at all. I think he's got a great life. I think, if you're breathing and you live in this great country and you get to play cards as well as he gets to play cards, and you every once in a while have a nice little lady friend to hang out with, you're straight like skull. He, sees like me and Rach, and he's met Rachel before, and kind of wants that. So he talks about it a little bit, but Mark just got back, right, from the Philippines doing this big tour overseas. And he takes this 20-year-old something chick with him. And then she kind of ghosts him a little bit and he's upset about it. Mark wants to settle down. Well, Mark, you play poker every day and you go, why can't I find a good girl? I'm going to give you an answer that nobody's giving you because you're at the fucking poker room every day.
Well, I mean, I believe she's 26 years old and we've got quite a large age difference, 15 years. And she's beautiful. I guess it's just dating the new generation. I was coming out of a 12-year relationship prior to dating her. Wow. And, not everyone's going to love you the way that you want to be loved is what I realized. And, she's doing things that really bother me. If I'm taking her to 7 countries, I'm taking her on this big trip and I'm not a sugar daddy, so to speak, because I understand that's what a lot of the guys at the table will tell me. Well, she just looks at you like that. I mean, it's fucking hurtful. Like I realize from bitching to you guys at the table that I require a level of, love and affection and admiration that I'm not receiving after spending all these resources on her and showing her and taking my time too. She thinks her fucking time's worth all this. I don't know. It's really complicated.
It was a bad investment, is what you're saying.
Perhaps not in the moment, but looking back,
right? Or you got paid out. I mean, you paid for what you put in. You might have lost a few dollars. Call her a tariff. And you just got hit with it.
I hate to look at love with monetary value. I think that's sad, but unfortunately, that's
You can look at pornography moments with a monetary value, and if that's what you got out of that relationship, there you go.
You got a little pornography, and you got a little trip and some companionship, and now you just move. Let me ask you this: you play poker every day, Mark. You want love. You want a good chick in your life. If one walks in and says you can't play poker every day, but you've fallen head over heels, what do you pick? The cards or the
cards?
Cards over
I'm picking cards. Of course. Yeah. I can't give up poker. What would I do with all my time?
I didn't even know her.
Exactly. I mean, I can't give up my way of living. I mean, what am I going to do? I haven't acquired enough yet.
She always work at Wawa.
Yeah, she offers you. She owns a Forbes top 500 company. She offers you an executive position and says you can work here, and I'll pay you, $500,000 salary a year. And you just
all right. Now I'm with her. I'd give up poker. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
See, my wife's an enabler. Like she goes, like the other night, for example, like I'm a short stack buy-in, and I do that on purpose. I like the challenge, but I had my last buy-in, and I told her, I was like, I'm running really bad, and I was like, it's getting late. I should be getting home. I got to get up early tomorrow, and I was like, but you're going to make the call. I said, should I give my last buy-in and hopefully things turn around and I can at least get even? And she goes, that's a stupid fucking question. Of course you're going to do that. She goes, I want you to go and kick those motherfuckers' asses. That's my wife. She's an enabler. I found a good one.
I'd call that supportive. Not an enabler.
Whatever.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart. That's nice. She's like a little cheerleader.
Yeah. Yeah. You should see.
I had that until I did it. I had that for 12 years. And looking back, partly I ruined it. Being a gambler, I probably wasn't the most loyal of men. And I should have made some adjustments when I had a good one. And I learned some things. And so coming into my 40th year and everything, I'll treat the next one better.
I will say this. I haven't been to a lot of poker rooms, but I've been to enough to say this. There's not that. First off, there's more men that play poker than women.
100%.
And two, there's not that many attractive women. I'm not saying there aren't any, but they're very few and far between that are in a poker room at any given time. Far and few between. Not saying there's none, but far and few. It's not like there's a plethora of them.
No, I mean, the poker room is a male-dominated industry for sure. Like when I first started playing, it was probably 30-1. You wouldn't even see a woman sitting and playing, right? But nowadays, I'd say it's about 1 in 10, which has really changed. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You start counting. We got Barb, and you'll see about Aura plays with us now, and there's a couple ladies. That being said, I've played poker in probably 30 to 40 countries all around the world, and I've played in hundreds of poker rooms. I would say when it comes to eye candy and the level of physical attractiveness, not to sound completely chauvinistic, but just being objectively speaking, Orange City Card Room has the lowest eye candy of all card rooms. I mean, just across the board. I mean, Central Florida and that there's a Dollar General next door to this place. It's not like we're playing at the Wynn Las Vegas.
That's going out of business, mind you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we're playing at the Venetian or in Barcelona.
But this is 2025. Do we know they're all women sitting at the table? Or are we just making assumptions here, Mark?
Yeah. I was just in Asia for 7 countries.
Now you're really up a creek. You can't tell at all. Those Asian boys are hot.
Yeah. And there's 2 type of lady boys.
Lady boys.
What are the differences?
Some of them are cut, and some of them still have their dicks.
Really?
Oh.
And
yes.
Did you find this out firsthand, or did somebody tell you?
You spent 3 months in Asia, you go to enough bars, you hang out enough, you talk to enough people.
Actually, I have heard some have the hot dog, some have the bun. Yeah, I get it now.
I remember one morning, I was walking down the strip in Vegas, and it was so late, it was so early, like the sun was coming up, and this beautiful black girl stops me. I think I was like in front of like Harrah's, and this is when like Bill's and O'Shea's was there, and stopped me and was like, "Oh, you're all alone." And I said, "Yeah, I'm heading back now." And she's like, "Do you want some company?" And I was single. I think I was single at the time. And
you better have been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just being nice.
We're on the radio.
It was kind of unavoidable, to talk to her at least. I don't want to be rude. And I said, "No, I'm good." And it was like they were this thing was trying so hard to keep the girl voice, because when they said goodbye,
this thing,
it was like, it's like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you."
See, and that's a big thing too in Asia. A lot of my American friends flew out, and we went and we played in the Filipino poker tour. The Asian poker tour was in town, and I know it's going to be difficult for a lot of Americans to understand this, but the lady boys in Asia, if they're too pretty, they're a fucking dude. I mean, these transsexuals are hot. Like, I know people are gonna go, "Oh, you're fucking, homo or whatever." If they're too hot, they're a dude, and that's just how it is in Asia. I mean, in Thailand. I mean, you go, "Oh, damn," and a lot of my American friends will walk up and go, "Oh, you're." But in Thailand, it's completely normal. You just ask, "Are you a dude?" And they'll say, "Yeah." And you're like, "Oh, well, no, thank you then." And you again keep moving on. There's even signs before you go into these go-go bars with hundreds of girls on the fucking stage, and it'll say "all ladies," like all lady bar, or all lady boy bar.
All lady boy.
So people know, all lady boy bar. So you can tell. I mean, it's there's man, woman, and then there's lady boy there, and it's almost like a different societal thing happening.
Is everybody using the same bathroom there?
No, and you have to pay to piss. So bring a pocket of change.
You have to pay to go to the bathroom?
Most places, yeah. 80% of the places, you got to pay 10, 20 baht.
Why?
To keep the bathrooms clean. Because they're a poor country, and to keep the bathrooms clean. So that's just one way to... Not just to stimulate the economy, for places to make money, because they're trying to hustle,
That's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah. That's so funny. Mm-hmm. All right. See, this wasn't bad, dude. Right?
No.
This is comfortable. You don't have anxiety. You're good. You're feeling good.
It's more so the having to do something at a certain time.
Yeah, that was the other thing Benny was telling me. He's like, you don't understand this. It's just knowing that I have to do something, which now I kind of understand it, to be honest with you, because if I'm your lifestyle is in that card room, and that's where you're at, and you don't want to be distracted or have something to do or something to think about. That's why I could never do what you do, because I've got so many things going on that I'm dealing with, and shit on my mind. That's, again, something my wife tells me. She's like, "Don't worry about it. Just enjoy yourself. Have fun." She's like, "You play better when you're having fun and you're focused." So I understand actually what you were talking about now, about having to do something, because that's not in your regiment. That's not who you are on a daily basis, because you don't have kids, you don't have pets, you don't have any of that stuff. You have a family, but other than that, that's all you got.
I mean, I believe human beings are happier when they are habitual. Right. So there was a time in my life where I got into poker because I believe all poker players were rock stars. I saw them on ESPN. They were winning big tournaments. I thought it was just women and booze and drugs. And it was going to be, that's how I envisioned it. And now after 20 years, I realized, well, it's actually you need to be studious and, structured and disciplined. And I mean, mentally strong. Because I went through phases where I was, using substances and just sleeping too long, and my work schedule, my play schedule was graveyard. I lived in Vegas for 8 years playing, and sleeping during the day, playing overnight, and not playing 6 days a week like I do now. And then I go see my family on Sundays and hang out, socialize, and I go to the Springs now and wake up. I'm much more structured than I was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and it's really important. But freedom, I never have shit to do, like an actual agenda. It's always on my own time. I wake up when I want to. I stroll in, I do a little exercise, go out to the Springs, and then I stroll into the poker room. But once I'm in there, yeah. You even see on my bathroom breaks, I optimize everything. I'm trying to see as many hands as I can. I never miss a double board bomb pot. I always go behind the button, then I always post behind so I can play the most hands.
I start doing that too. Actually, it's funny. Like I'll wait to go to the bathroom, depending on where the button's at the table, and I'll ask the dealer, like when are you leaving? Because I don't want to miss the bomb pots. And it makes sense, right? As a poker player, it makes sense. But there's another side of me because I do not do this every day. I'm a recreational, for the most part, player, right? I'm going, dude, you got a fucking problem, man. You're waiting to piss so you can play a bomb pot in order to make more money.
Well, because it's fun.
A bomb pot is when you still get your 2-hole cards in your hand. You pre-flop, you put in a 2-5 game, we put in $25. So everybody's in for $25. And not everybody plays. And then you have 2 boards. So you'll get 2 flops, 3 cards on a flop. So they'll do 2 of them. So you are trying to win one, best case scenario, both boards. A lot of times you're going to split the pot with somebody else. But you can win a lot of money because the pot's already at $100 and some bucks pre-flop, or in which I've experienced, you can lose a lot of money. I don't know if I told you a story. I lost $1,600 to pool table Todd. The flop on the bottom board was King 10-6. The top board was King Ace. And he let out and bet $100. Another dude bet, I raised, he went all in, right? I had a set of 6s. He had a set of 10s. $1,600 fucking dollars. I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh.
So if I walk into a poker room, is there anybody that's going to teach me all this shit that you guys are talking about, or am I just going to lose my money in 5 minutes?
Mark will do it.
There'll be people that will teach you the rules at the front desk, but as soon as you sit down at the table, there may be a nice person that may, guide you. But no, everyone's your competitor, right? It's like you're playing for money against other people. The difference between poker and blackjack and Keno and roulette is craps, roulette, blackjack, you're playing against the house. In poker, you're playing against other people, other patrons, and the house is taking a very small percentage of every hand, right? So there's no house edge. They're making the same amount no matter how large we're playing for. So that's the big difference. You're not playing against the house. So no, I mean, there are nice people, that will tell you the rules and things, but ultimately they're your competitor and they're trying to take your chips, your money.
Right.
I think I'm gonna make a decision right now. I'm gonna become a professional poker player. As of right now, I'm professional.
You need to work on your math. Your math is shit.
Yeah. What's my math? What's wrong with my math?
Since we've started this conversation, you've not counted the pot correctly in my 9's hand. You were about 800, 900 off, which is fine. You were in the pot. And then during this one, you said there's 100 extra in the pot, the double or bomb pots. Well, there's 200 to the flop because there's 8 players. We're each putting in 25. So we're starting out with 200. And every time you negate one, we're 175, 150, et cetera, et cetera. Those things matter. Yeah. And those things matter because there's 2 types of tells, Jay. There's physical tell reads, someone's decimal level in their voice, their body language, the way they tick their mouth, their eyes, their jawline, their breathing, their vein, all these things, right? The way they hold their hands, the way they hold their cards, the way they place their chips in the pot, the way they make their bets, the way they announce their bets. All these things are tells, physical tells. Then there's also the mathematical tells. Jason bets 20 when he holds this range of cards. Perhaps he limps 4-7, just calls with 4-7. Perhaps he always raises to this number. Perhaps he does this amount. If the pot's 100, Jason always bets 50 when he holds this. This is very important, especially when you start getting up into the levels. Guys like Teddy. I know Teddy has math tells that I would never tell him on the show, tells that I would never divulge to him because they're things that I utilize him every day in a battle. And even though he's my friend and we'll have dinner together and I've met his wife and children, it's like the movie Rounders. KGB, the main character, fucking opens up the Oreos and he knows. I would never tell Teddy, the guy, funny, the guy's name in real life is actually Teddy also. Yeah. His map tells because it's something that I joust with him every day,
That's what I want. I want like a Mark, and Nate's been giving me little tips too. I want like somebody in my ear or just shoot me a text and be like, no, yes, good job, bad job, you're an idiot. What the fuck? I want that. It's just such a fascinating game. I know for the audience, you're like, oh, I'm sure I'll get this on social media. It's like, oh, I could have done without the poker, episode. But Mark's life is very fascinating. It's about the story of Mark's life, and doing this for a living. But it's just fascinating how people tick and why they do the things that they do and how they do them. It's nice to win the money. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice supplement of income for a guy like me. You rely on this. I mean, you've got to take this really fucking seriously. But like just to watch people tick, Barb, that name's come up a couple times. This is an older woman that absolutely despises Mark, despises him. She supposedly is worth a ton of money, which I believe she is. I think she's a sweet old lady. She claims that she plays all over the world and has for years in these big games. She very rarely plays a hand, but take all that away and go, if she's got all this and she's so busy, why is she here? There's something missing in her life, that she loves the camaraderie of that poker table, whether she's bitching or not. It's on a personal level.
Well, we used to play with her husband years ago, and he passed. So she's older, and even though she says she's this big businesswoman, which I believe she did inherit a lot of his business. I think he was a big architect in Central Florida, and he built half of Maitland and Winter Park and things. Extremely wealthy guy. That being said, yeah, she comes to the poker world for camaraderie as much as she tries to push everyone away. Barb and I, you said she despises me. Sometimes she will come over and give me chocolates and things. We have a very unique relationship. The thing with Barbara is when things are peaceful in the room, I don't mind playing with her. But we have a thing called a must-move game. So there's multiple tables, and one game feeds into the other game. When I see weaker players in the game and Barb's in my game, I'm antagonizing her a little more because I'm trying to push her out. I want her to leave. I'm being a little bit more rude than I normally would on some days. Based upon, it's not just because of me being a dick. It's based on the other players in the other table that I want to play with. If there's good players in that table coming to our game, I don't mind playing with Barb because I just run Barb over because she's not a threat to me. But if there's players that are going to feed me chips and feed me money, I need her out of that seat because I need them to come and take her seat. So that's why I'm fucking with her.
God,
on those days.
People
think, oh, you're just being a dick, Mark. They don't realize I'm riling her up, and I know the things that make her tick to get her to fucking leave.
I do. That's what I said at the very beginning of this. You're a fucking brilliant gimmick. It's absolutely like I've always said, Bailey, you're a good mind fucker. You get to read people and stuff. Dude, you are next level at this. This is a whole new world to watch and actually learn from. The radio business is one level of mind effing. This poker stuff is a whole new level. You live the gimmick because there's no corporate involved. This is everybody's a self-contracted employee that's out for themselves. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Now with Barb, because you have this odd relationship and she might be lonely, maybe you at times too, would you?
Of course. Yeah. 80-year-old lady, she's got all that money.
Take her to the Philippines, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I'll be a boy toy.
Yeah, sugar mama
for the right price. Everybody's got a price.
That's what the $1 Million Man said. Everybody's got a price. All right, dude. I'll see you probably here shortly.
All right.
Yeah.
Of course.
You were great. You're fascinating. People love you. I know they love you. Now you've broken that seal of anxiety of having to do something. Now you know how much fun this show is. You saw a different side of me because at the poker table, I'm actually very quiet. People like, you're on the radio, you did radio, what? And then those that knew me as Buckethead back in the day, they're just like, man, you've changed. I'm like, how so? They always want me to be on. They always want me to be this, and I don't want to be this all the time. I actually like to sit in silence. And so, like as you've probably learned here, and at some point in time, knowing how your brain ticks, you're going, who the fuck is this guy I'm talking to right now? I haven't heard this guy talk this much ever, right? So now I'm going to throw your game off a little bit because you never saw this side of me. And you're like, who is this guy really? So that was my whole plan this whole time, is to manipulate you.
Okay, well, I was thinking that during this conversation. Jeez, Jay's talking a fucking lot. Well, good. That's great. It's what's nice about the poker room too is that you can be any version of yourself, and people are good. The next day rolls by, oh, you were being a dickish or whatever. That's gone because ultimately it's a big fucked up family of gamblers and degenerates, and everyone's accepted. So
people
come out and play.
Fisticuffs in the poker room a lot.
People come to
fisticuffs, want to fight.
Oh, I've seen a number of fights, but not so much. I mean, Orange City, as much as people argue and things, it's civilized war,
Yeah. Especially, the 2-5 group of players that play. If I don't see anybody in that normal crew ever doing that and being classless. Just, I think they have enough more respect for the game and the room and those that run the room, Rich and Ryan, and they're all great guys. If somebody came in, an outsider came in and pulled one of those things, there's enough muscle at that table that would, I wouldn't rely too much on the security, but there's enough muscle on that table that would say, hey, this is not going to happen. This is not the time. This is not the place. 6 guys would stand up in a heartbeat. And especially if they, went after a local or regular and was just out of line. I mean, there's a huge level of respect, and a line you don't cross. And when you cross that, it all depends. I've seen some people get very close to that line. Like Mark, he gets up there, but he never goes over it. I've seen some people cross it before. There was a guy the other day that I almost went over and said something to. He's a 1-2 player, and out loud in the poker room, he berated the waitress, and I just didn't like that. And I was going to get up, and somebody said, "Don't do it." And I was just going to go whisper in his ear. I'm like, dude, not a good move, man. Just kind of classless. But all that was going to do was cause an altercation, and there was a no-win battle for anybody. But it pissed me off because these girls are working their asses off, and they're understaffed, and they're just doing a job. It's nothing personal, And the same thing at a poker table. When you make it personal, you lose. You got to keep it business. That's what I've always told people in the radio business. It's never personal. It's always business. It's always gimmick. You're doing it to entertain an audience. That's all you're doing it. So anyway, all right, Marky Mark, love you, brother. I'll see you in a few. Okay, we'll play some cards.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
See you, brother.
Bye bye.
Just fascinating, right? Absolutely,
Mark.
Freaking fascinating.
The way his brain was running through numbers and stuff, that's insane to me.
Yeah, that's next level, dude. I got to get on that level.
Good luck with that.
As smart as I think I am, I'm nothing compared to that. Like, not even close. Not even close.
That dude was rocking a calculator. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, dude. Again, thanks for listening to the Freebay episode. TheBaileyShow.com if you want to subscribe, get all the episodes. That's cool. Social media, make sure you like, share, follow all of us. Look, here's the other thing is, I don't think I've ever thrown this out to y'all. If you got a good story and you want to come on and share it, I'm open for it. It's all about the story. It's what I find interesting. You don't have to be a celebrity to have a story. So if you've got a good story, please tell me. I'm all ears. I got a good one for you coming up when Manny comes on about a 2-peer and what just happened to them. Ooh, I get a message. Hey, what's Manny's number again? I'm like, dude, we talk about Mad Dog Manny Aurora. He's one of our main sponsors. He has been from day one. And you don't know Manny's number and how to get a hold of him? I think they just wanted to reach out. But anyway, I love to help. If you're a business sponsor, want to come on, reach out to me, and Win Bailey's booty, $100 and all that good stuff. All right, you got anything before we get out?
Man, after today's episode, I'm really leaning into professional Uno.
$500 blue reverse, please. Thank you very much. All right, look, have yourself a great, safe one. Thanks for the support. Appreciate you. Tell somebody that you know about the show. That'd be cool. And we'll talk soon. All right, bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.